The story begins in the middle of the night, where our main protagonist crosses over to another world in the body of a zombie. He regained consciousness and found himself stuck in the grave of the original body's owner. He forcibly pulled himself out of the tomb, and he was complaining that his body was so stiff, making him believe that the original owner of it would not eat. Before he came into this world, he was in his room downloading Plant Curses Zombies synthetic version on his computer. This game is a play on the actual game mode in China called Plants vs. Zombies, the hybrid version. As soon as he opened the software, the computer screen went black. When he opened his eyes, he appeared in this place, and he wasn't sure if he was still in his country. He was devastated as he regretted playing with a modified and pirated version instead of supporting the real version. While sitting on the ground, he noticed his tomb's name was Zhang Wei. He then remembered some scattered memories that his name in this world is Zhang Wei, and he was in his grave. In other words, the original owner's corpse was already stiff before he crossed over, and he concludes that he would have been able to seamlessly connect with the original owner if he had come earlier. He was staring at his tomb's hole, and he decided to fill the hole as he was afraid it was bad luck. At the same time, there was a small light in front of him. The light expanded, and he was expecting it to be the Transmigrator's portable system. However, he was dumbfounded when he found out it was the game interface, and there was a manner that could plant 54 squares. There was an option of opening the plant illustration handbook, and the moment he opened it, he saw two kinds of plants. First is the spiritual sunflower. Planting this flower requires 1 unit of spirit chi, and this can produce 1 unit of spirit chi per day. There are ways to upgrade it. The first upgrade of this planet is spiritual sunflower twins that could produce 2 units of spirit chi per day. The second upgrade is the spiritual sunflower empress that could produce 20 units of spirit chi per day. Both of these upgrades are still not unlocked, and there is also a third upgrade which is still unknown. As per the system, 1 unit of spirit chi is the total amount of the spirit energy in the entire body of the first level of a chi refiner at great perfection. Wei then realizes that this reality game turns out to be a world of cultivators, since the sunflower turned into a spiritual sunflower that produces spiritual energy. There is also a peas that is similar to the game Plants vs. Zombies, but in this world, the peas name was charged to Bean Brother. There are also 2 known upgrades, which are the Bean Brother Twins, which can launch 2 attacks at once, and the Wild Bean Master, which can launch 8 attacks at once. Both were unknown, and the third upgrade is still unknown. Knowing that the plants can be upgraded, he was wondering if this Bean Brother would eventually evolve into the Bean Emperor. He also deduces that there might be a chance to return to Earth after reaching a higher level, since this is the world of cultivating immortals. He thought that spiritual energy was definitely the most precious resource for cultivating immortals. 1 unit of spirit only contains so much, and the manor will produce 1 unit by itself every day, plus the fully grown spiritual sunflowers. He was excited after computing that he could get 55 units of spirit chi every day, which is definitely a fortune. He then planted the sunflower as he didn't want to waste more time. But all of a sudden, he heard voices coming. He immediately runs back to his grave, while wondering who would dare to go into the wilderness in the middle of the night. Since he's someone who came back to life, he shouldn't be exposed, so he hid as fast as he could. He was in his grave while 2 people were coming. One of these people is a little girl crying. She was kneeling on the ground while asking the guy with her to do one last thing for her brother. The guy then reminded her that her brother was already dead, and he commanded her to throw the paper she was holding in the pit and burn the corpse using her immortal fire. Burn it and get married. You're lucky to be favored by a cultivator like me. He added. Still, the lady is continuously begging to give her brother a complete corpse, and she reminds him not to forget that he and her brother used to be friends. They were in front of Wei's corpse, and upon hearing the little girl's voice, Wei then realizes that this girl is Zhang Qian, his little sister in this world who depends on him. He remembered that in order to save money for his sister's private school, the real Zhang Wei fell to his death while going up the mountain to collect medicine. He also knew that the guy together with Qian right now was Lin Hao from the same village. This guy is someone who passed the Immortal Sect examination and became a chi refiner. He even took advantage of Zhang Wei's death to threaten Zhang Qian. At this moment, Qian was talking to her brother Wei's corpse. She's telling her he didn't marry a wife just because he was taking care of her for his whole life. She was hoping Wei would come back even as a ghost, since she's not afraid at all as long as it's her brother. She also informed him that the linen clothes she secretly waved for him were only half finished. I gave you 1 teal of silver, which is enough for food and clothing for a year, and you actually used it to buy these things. Very well, if you still want money in the future, just serve me obediently, Lin Hao stated with annoyance. Qian didn't respond, but she suddenly hit her own head on the rock. Lin Hao was shocked by her action. He pulled her on her neck and said, "You've already sold yourself to me, and you're my property. How dare you commit suicide?" He then slapped her, and before he could hit her back, Wei grabbed his feet and asked him if it made him no longer a human after cultivating to become an immortal. Wei was in his zombie mode. He crawled out from his grave while questioning Lin Hao why he was bullying her sister while he was not around. "What kind of thing are you? Zhang Wei is dead," Lin Hao said. Despite the pain Qian felt, she was still smiling upon seeing her brother come back to life. On the other hand, Lin Hao was scared as he was sure Wei was dead since he was the one who examined his corpse. He then smiles as he concludes that Wei's corpse hasn't dissipated yet, and he turned into a zombie, then unexpectedly retained his intelligence. He heard before that once someone was refined into an iron corpse with molten iron, it would have extraordinary strength and become vulnerable. It would be invincible at the foundation building stage, so he wants to grab the opportunity. He was grateful believing that gods are helping him, and for him, the brother and sister are really his lucky stars since one is his concubine and the other will be his bodyguard. "Oh Zhang Wei, after half a year of separation, let me show you my new swordsmanship, Jade Spring Sword," he added. He was about to attack, but Qian stopped him by holding his shoulder and told Wei to run away. Lin Hao hits the girl while reminding her that her brother Zhe is already dead and is now a zombie. The lady fell to the ground helplessly and in pain. "Lin Hao, it seems you haven't tasted my fist for a long time," Zhe said as he walked toward Lin Hao. Lin Hap laughed at him for having the confidence to fight against a cultivator with only a fist. Zhe then remembered that Lin Hao was practicing for half a year, plus his manor system only had 1 spiritual flower planted. He concludes that it would be great if the one he planted now was a bean brother which can attack. Still, he doesn't want to give up. Now that he accepted the body of the original owner, he wants him to fulfill his wish and let him go with peace of mind. He was staring at the system as he deduced that it was not just a simple system. He then clicked the Zombie Illustration Handbook to know its purpose. Upon clicking it, he saw a zombie similar to his looks. He was sure it was him. The system stated that he was just an ordinary zombie who transformed from a recently dead person. And apart from not being afraid of pain, he doesn't have any other advantage. There are 3 upgrades in his character. The first upgrade is the Head Guard Zombie. This zombie takes care of its brain, which is proof of its survival. The second upgrade is the Iron Head Zombie. This zombie's head is like iron, very hard, the same as his body. Both of these upgrades are not unlocked, and the third upgrade is still unknown. Wei was wondering what an ordinary zombie could do, believing that there is no point in fighting an immortal cultivator unless he advances. Plus, the system didn't even say what the upgrade conditions are. He was focusing on the system without noticing that Lin Hao was charging at him with killing intent. Something then comes to his mind. He commanded his zombie in the system to eat the spiritual sunflower, and a bright light emerged the moment Lin Hao's attack landed on him. Lin Hao's power is definitely strong. However, Wei was unharmed. Wei shows no reaction. Lin Hao was dumbfounded seeing a newly transformed zombie who was able to block his full-strength attack. Right now, Wei paused as he confirmed that zombies are destined to eat the plants in the system. He felt that the spiritual energy contained in a spiritual sunflower was all absorbed in the zombie's body. In other words, he instantly became a great perfection of the first level of chi refining, a zombie. The immortal road is long, Lin Hao. You've only been practicing for half a year, and you just stepped into the chi refining stage, right? How can you break through my defense? He stated. He then smiled ironically and proclaimed it is now his turn. He screamed. You want me to throw yourself into my arms? I'll give it to you for my sister. You can't kill me. I'm an immortal. He was about to attack Lin Hao's neck, but he was puzzled when Lin Hao instantly died. Lin Hao lay down on the ground lifeless. Wei then realizes that zombies are scary to people as they unexpectedly scare people to death. From what he remembered, Lin Hao never had much courage since he was a kid, but after cultivating to become an immortal, his courage became even smaller. After a minute, the system notifies that a dead body has been detected for collection and he can collect it. Of course, Wei seized the opportunity and collected Lin Hao's corpse. Now he has 2 zombies, and one is his character. The system also notifies that Lin Hao is also an ordinary zombie, and the attributes have been synchronized. Wei was thrilled by the fact that the zombie illustration handbook could actually collect corpses by itself. And he was excited, believing that it would be great once he found a cemetery of gods and demons. The collected zombies and qualified attributes can be synchronized and coordinated with the main zombie. The main zombie has obtained Lin Hao's immortal cultivation aptitude and has maintained the cultivation at the great perfection of the first level of qi refining. His own attribute is an inferior water spirit root. His cultivation is great perfection of the first level of the qi refining stage. At this time, his body isn't stiff anymore, and he concludes that the flexibility might be in sync with Lin Hao, who just died. He smiled while thinking about what kind of immortality he should cultivate after having a simply invincible system. He then decided to find a place to hide, grow plants, and raise zombies. 3 days later, Wei was still walking to find a place. Qian was with him, following his way. "Zhang Qian, you're walking too slow. Try to settle down in Xinjia village tonight," Wei said. The little girl was teary-eyed, looking at him without any words. Wei feels pity for her. Still, he turned back around, crossed his arms, and told her that he only had a fake death and came back to life. Qian then told him he hadn't eaten or drank, but he never got tired. "This is called the final radiance of the setting sun. God wouldn't accept me, so he let me continue this afterglow, and even my condition is better," Wei replied. Qian took 3 steps away from him, and he was annoyed, telling her that she doesn't trust him even a little. 3 days ago, when he woke up, in order not to scare her, he told her he faked his death just to tease her. She was sure he was a liar and took 5 steps back. He promised he wouldn't harm anyone, and he lied that Lin Hao suddenly had to pee and went back to his sect. That night, Qian asks him what was the name of the grandma who gave them steamed buns when they were children. He then replied it was Auntie Mo, but unfortunately, he was wrong, so Qian ran away in fear. While running, she was asking Wei another question, but Wei still didn't get the right answer. He felt he was beaten every time Qian asked him questions which he didn't know either. He then realizes that the owner of the body he had has been dead for a long time, and according to modern medicine, all the brain cells are dead. He didn't even inherit some of his memories. That night, Qian was so scared of him. She was hiding in the tree and was about to cry. Wei was checking his system and found out that the only thing he inherited was probably the previous life mission. According to the system, when Zhang Wei died, the thing he couldn't let go of the most was his sister. His mission is to find a good place for her to settle down and ensure that she can live a stable life. Once he completes this mission, he can upgrade to a head guard zombie, which can equip an item and improve the attributes of the main body. Back in the present time, Qian was asking him not to lie to her anymore. "Even if you eat me or kill me, I'm begging you, don't mess with my brother's body, let me bury him in peace," she added while crying. Wei was speechless. He was impressed seeing how much Qian loved her brother so much. He then honestly told Qian that he's not her brother anymore, and he doesn't know what he is now. He also informed her that making her happy is the task her brother left to him. But then, Qian pushed him away and ordered her to let her see her brother. Wei touched her hair. He feels pity for her. He's really dead. Even though Lin Hao's body keeps him flexible and warm, he won't get tired, hungry, or sleepy. He wants to cry seeing Qian in pain, but he can't. He was wondering if his heart gradually died or his emotions gradually became cold. He also wondered if he would still be him once he returned to his Earth in the future. Zhang Qian, who finally got her answer, stopped making noise, and they both continued heading their way. They arrived at Xinjia village since he could not go back to his original village. His house was emptied by Lin Hao, and it was even more inconvenient for the villagers that Zhang Wei had come back to life. He used his qi-refining zombie body to smash a wall with one punch, and it only took a second for the village chief of Xinjia to believe that he was an immortal cultivator. He worked hard to rebuild the wall. All the money found in Lin Hao's pocket was given to the village chief, who promised to adopt Zhang Qian as his adopted daughter. After everything was handled, Zhang Qian finally rested. Wei was staring at her, and he was glad that the mission was completed. He knows that the road to immortality is long, but he was aiming to become famous so he could come back and get Qian. Now he opened his system window. He realizes he doesn't have anything in hand, so he decides to use Lin Hao's sword temporarily. According to the system, this small amount of iron sheet adds a small amount of metal protection to the surface of his body. Upon knowing its purpose, Wei only got disappointed. Another 3 days had passed. Wei finally gained a lot. The previous spiritual energy, he planted 5 rows, or 30 spiritual sunflowers in total. At midnight on the 7th day, he will have 32 units of spiritual energy, so he planned to plant something else. The next day, he immediately collected the 32 units of spiritual energy. As per Wei, plants can provide him with the ability to attack and defend, achieving all-around development. In the remaining 4 rows, he planted 2 rows of bean brothers and 1 row of nuts. For the remaining row, he tried 4 dwarf watermelons and 2 sweet potato mines. In addition to the iron watermelon, there are 5 kinds of plants. He has 3 extra spirit chi, and he wants to plant spiritual sunflowers and let the zombies eat them to strengthen them. To sum things up, he now has 31 units of spirit chi produced every day, which is 12 times the attack power of the first level of Bean Brother Chi refining. Now that he's really strong, he believes it is now the time to complete the missions left by Lin Hao during his lifetime. "No, buddy, your mission after death is really your rebirth," he uttered as he opened the mission. As he checked it, he found out Lin Hao had 7 missions. The first is to cause trouble with Zhang Wei and seize his sister. The second is to bring the collected grass branches back to the Jade Spring sect. The third is to stay with senior sister Lin Shirshir forever. Fourth is to stay with senior sister Xia Yun forever. Fifth is to also stay with senior sister Qi Siru forever. Sixth is to suggest to senior sister Li Aria to change her name, and also stay with her forever. And lastly, not to encounter a zombie tide. Wei doesn't have any clue about zombie tide, especially since he doesn't know much about this world. Now he decided to find the Jade Spring sect first, and then make plans. He suddenly pulled something from the system, as he noticed it was flashing from the very beginning, and he concluded it might be a prop for positioning within the sect. He then pointed the prop in the direction where the frequency of flashing is a bit higher. He switched into Lin Hao Zombie to check it out. He hopped and arrived in the area where he heard voices. He smiled as he found out there were people around. There were 2 ladies fighting against numerous wolves. They were struggling since one of them didn't have much spiritual energy left. One of the ladies was expecting their martial brother to come and rescue them, and the other lady proclaimed she could activate the Jade Sword technique 3 more times. Wei was watching them, and he was sure that these ladies were Lin Hao's senior sisters. Because of that, he wants to grab the opportunity to rescue them so they can return to the sect with him. He was confident that he could now deal with the beasts with his current strength. He then revealed himself to the ladies, and he knew he wouldn't be suspicious since he was using Lin Hao's body. The system window suddenly popped up to notify him that there is a detected material that could be used for plant absorption in the manor. He then collected the materials, but the ladies were puzzled with his behavior. He then told him to wait a bit as he needed to check the instructions. The ladies were mad, accusing him he's playing tricks on them. Lin Hao ignored them in the meantime as he was reading the system's notification. The system was asking him if he would like to use plant absorption on the spiritual sunflower. Wei then absorbed it, and his spiritual sunflower luckily evolved into spiritual sunflower twins, doubling the efficiency of producing spiritual energy. Wei was surprised upon seeing it. He was drooling while thinking that his system was a synthetic version. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment for part 2, and subscribe for more content like this. Till next time.